Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the 2014 USBC Open Championships. This is Media Relations Manager Matt Canizaro alongside Aaron Smith here at the National Bowling Stadium. We are behind lanes 55 and 56 today for the 3 p.m. team event. We've got a great show planned for you today. Some very talented bowlers, some familiar names, including former Team USA member David Haynes, very decorated player, longtime member of the team, as well as two-time Open Championship titleist Steve Kloempken and his talented wife, former PWBA standout Marcia Kloempken. So stay tuned. Practice is about to be done and will be underway in just a few minutes. Thanks for joining us. All right, so the bell has been rung. We're about to get underway here. Game number 1 of today's 3 p.m. team event. And here's Aaron Smith with today's lineups.
All right, thanks, Matt, and welcome everyone to another edition of the Open Championships on Bowl TV, presented by Track Bowling. Two very talented teams out of, or for the most part, out of the Utah area. Coach K Scholarship was led off by David Haynes there. We saw him take care of business there in the first shot. It'll be followed by Steve Kloempken, Brian Alpert, Alex Hoskins, and 1981 doubles champion Ted Haynes. For Storm Zero Gravity, Roger Nordic already took care of business in the first. Getting ready to step up on 56 is Chris Schlemmer, followed by Marcia Kloempken, Michael Sargent, and John Boving. So those are the lineups today. Very talented and very well-known group, as you already mentioned, in the bowling world. So should have a good show on our hands this afternoon here in Reno, Nevada.
All right, so here's our first look on lane 56 at Marcia Kloempken. Again, a former standout on the PWBA tour now that the tour has folded. A school teacher trying to shape the next generation. I've actually known Marcia now for 20 plus years. She grew up in South Florida, Boca Raton area, went to the University of Florida. Just before I got there, we kind of overlapped by a semester or two, and then she moved on. And now she's back here at the Open Championships. Looking forward to seeing her compete again, of course. And Steve Kloempken, a former co-worker at USBC, now working again for Storm in Utah. So again, nice to see him one more time.
So you're saying she got Florida at the right time, so. See what I did there?
Aaron's a comedian.
Last year, this Coach K Scholarship group was known as Rhino for President. Made a run at their record books during their team event. In Game 2, posted a very nice 12.57 on their way to a 33.98 overall score. Of course, we've had that record surpassed twice here in 2014. 123bowl.com setting the pace with 32 strikes in a row in their middle game probably about a month ago, on their way to a 12.99 effort.
So I don't know if I have 32 strikes decade at the Open Championships, and those guys with 32 in a row. I have no doubt we're going to see quite a few strikes today. A lot of experience on this pair of lanes. For example, Ted Haynes was winning doubles titles here before you were even thought of, Mr. Smith, just about.
That's true. As a product of the mid-'80s, not 1981, so. Ted, of course, a 3-time PBA Tour titleist, and was runner-up at the Masters back in 1982. So he was a fan of the championship atmosphere, and still is, making his 30th appearance this year. Looks like an asylum for David Haynes to start.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say we're probably going to see a couple of Storm and Roto Grip balls go down the lane today. Storm, of course, a big sponsor here at the USBC Open Championships, the Storm Bowlers Journal Championships presented by USBC. However, just a reminder, today's and all of our live stream broadcasts from the Open Championships this year brought to you by Track Bowling, also another huge sponsor, also sponsoring the Track Showcase lanes downstairs where you can have a team practice session before coming up here for your own team event. All right, Mr. Smith, we are now all situated on the social media. Sport of Bowling USBC on Facebook and at USBC on Twitter. The word is out. You can also check out the official USBC Open and Women's Championships Facebook page for details on everything happening at the tournaments. But we've told the world now we're live on Bowl TV. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. This is Matt Canizaro and Aaron Smith doing what we do here at the Open Championships. We'll be here for the entire team event this afternoon. This is just game 1 of 3. And for those of you just getting home, kick back, relax, grab a frosty beverage, and check out some great bowling here at the 2014 USBC Open Championships. Marcia Kloempken with the strike. She's mixing things up today, wearing one Nike shoe and one bowling shoe here at the NBS.
It's all about variety, man.
All right, Aaron, here's a look at Brian Alpert up on the right lane. Little known fact about Mr. Alpert.
What's that, man? We have to work on our communication skills, apparently.
All right, so Brian Alpert in the USBC record books, the first bowler with 299, 300, and 800 in the same season, both right-handed and left-handed. You can find that bowl.com/records, and it's an oddity, oddity, and it's alphabetical. First thing on the list, ambidextrous, 299, 300, 800 in the same season. Don't know the reasons necessarily. I know some folks want to try something new, or they have an injury that causes them to need to bowl with the opposite hand, or maybe it's just fun. But obviously bowling right-handed today, it looked like. I'm barely that good one hand. He can do it with both. That's pretty awesome, I think.
Number of these teams are chasing today, 35-61 up on top of the standings set by Motion Plus Lanes out of Cudahy, Wisconsin. And something you don't see nowadays at the Open Championships. A few lanes to our right, there's a gentleman bowling in a tie. I had to double check, make sure it wasn't you there, Matt.
Well, certainly dressed for success. And there was a time where every bowler at the Open Championships bowled in a tie. You'd come out, you have your matching white shirt, your black tie,
black bowling ball,
your one black bowling ball, and your towel slung over your arm. And you march out just like that.
And about 8 lanes would share the same ball return as well.
I try to tell guys, you only need one ball anyway. And we do talk about our Pride Award, of course. When your team dresses alike, you take home one of those special pins. Here at the Open Championships, dressed for success is what we call it. And that gentleman has classed up this joint, certainly.
Certainly so. All right, as Chris Schlemmer gets ready to step up here on 56, you had a chance to talk to him a little bit before we started, Matt. And no, that is not a piece of charcoal he's using. That is a round bowling ball. But he kind of gave you the rundown of what his plan was today. What did Schlem have to say for his game plan?
Well, Mr. Schlemmer did point out that as long as I've known him, which is going on a decade now since I started with USBC, I don't believe I've ever actually seen him bowl, as he has been a long-time PBA Tour rep and spent most of his time behind the lanes helping others succeed. But his goal coming out, it worked last year. Again, you mentioned their big score, their 1250 plus game. He's the guy who's going to play the outside part of the lane with a very dull piece of equipment. Right now, he's starting the day at 500 grit and has a couple balls at 1,000. And of course, the strategy there in a traditional Open Championships year is to break down the oil on the outside part of the lane. And many years you'd see some or all of the players doing the same thing, trying to break them down together. And the goal there is to create some room towards the outside part of the lane and then migrate left into where the oil would be. And then you have some miss room to the outside or some bounce even as the day progresses. And again, that helped last year as the team was able to move left and use the area that Slim created. And Marcia, being a young lady, is going to be just inside of that part. Slim will be to the far outside part of the lane. Marcia a little bit inside of there, kind of helping that transition also. This year's pattern, though, the pattern a little more developed than we've seen in the past, so not the need to work together as a team to break them down as we've seen. So that's why you're not seeing all 10 players necessarily, or all the right-handers on top of each other here trying to break that down and creating a wet dry. But now it's more of a balanced breaking down of the lane with some missed room to the outside. So looking forward to seeing how that develops. Of course, a pair of left-handers at least here in Sargent, who you just saw bowl on lane 56, and Roger Nordic. So we'll see how all that develops for them. It looked like an Optimist going down the lane there with a whole lot of surface on it for Sargent. Again, a similar strategy on the left, of course. You want to be able to at least create a little bit of area, and being out there almost by yourself, it's going to take a little bit longer, so the surface helping that. But Schlem doesn't mind being that guy, the token guy, who's going to help the team in that way. He said his strength is playing a little bit straighter anyway, throwing the ball kind of hard, so certainly not outside of his comfort zone, and anything he can do to help the team. Said he shot .630 or so last year doing that, and of course helped them in the big picture. So we will see as the day progresses.
It's a nice trip 9 for John Boving for an early double here.
So we got some familiar names in the chat room today. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. Of course, we've got the Woz, David Waslow from the Sports Schmucks and the Bowler Show, and Chris Hester tuning in. He'll be coming out here this week. I think he'll be out Wednesday. So taking some final notes before coming our way. And Hester, just a heads up now, all the chatter about Juicy's Burgers, Aaron's actually already making a strategy, a plan to somehow get there for lunch tomorrow. And he'll report back. He's never been there as many times as he's been or lived in Reno. So he's going to do some field research, make sure it's as good as you say.
That's true. Pressure's on, Hester.
And then, of course, Mike Flanagan, Inside Bowling, tuning in to see his co-workers hard at work here.
Offering some inside information as well.
So Mike has already competed this year. I'm not sure if, well, we don't want to talk too much about that, but maybe on Saturday we'll talk more about how other people bowled here.
Schlemmer gets just enough of the 6-pin there to count as a spare. We'll see Kloempken coming up here. Marcia 2 in a row after spare in the first. Looks like a Storm Marvel S in her hands. comes up a little bit light, leaves a 2-pin. Does not get the Walter Ray Senior Masters carry there. Of course, if you didn't get a chance to see all the action from the USBC Senior Masters earlier this week, be sure to check out the archives here on Bowl TV. Lucas Wiseman brought all the coverage from qualifying all the way to the stepladder finals. And that was quite a finish, to say the least. Walter Ray taking care of business in a way he said he never has before. Finding some very generous carry against Jack Jurek, needing at least 9 to keep the match alive. So be sure to check that out on Bowl TV and subscribe to our channel as well. You get all the notifications and the latest and greatest the USBC has to offer. Belvin makes it 3 in a row with, looks like a hypercell. Hannah's looking for his first strike here. Gets it. All right, starting the 5th frame here in game number 1. We'll be here for all 3. Aaron Smith and Matt Cannizzaro. Thanks again for taking some time out of your Monday afternoon or early evening, depending on where you're coming from.
All right, I'm back. Got to chat with our neighbors about the sensitivity of our microphones at times. We have caught some good stuff though over the broadcast. We're closing in on number 30 for the year. We've got a handful coming up next week from the women's championships, and after this, one more this week from here at the National Bowling Stand. That's going to shut it down actually for us for the year at the Open Championships. Of course, our defending regular singles champ, Zeke Bates.
Well, he said his name wrong last year on the live stream, and it worked out pretty well.
He
so
ended up winning. He's headed back our way, bowling Friday and Saturday.
He's already in town.
Is he already, or did he leave? I thought he was leaving and coming back.
Oh, really? I figured once you get to Reno, you stay in Reno, and then you bowl.
We didn't talk too much about it, but maybe something nearby, or I don't know. Hard to say. We'll find out when he's here, of course. See if he got any tips or figured out anything bowling at the Storm Bowlers Journal Championships when he was here. Of course, being that he's the singles champ, getting a feel for the doubles and singles pattern certainly would make a whole lot of sense. He's getting comfortable with the venue a little bit too. We'll have that for you on Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern. But right now, it's all about Coach K Scholarship and Storm Zero Gravity here at the National Bowling Stadium. Behind lanes 55 and 56. And there's another good shot by Alpert. Going a little bit high, but getting the 4-9 to go. He's perfect on lane 55. Marcia leaves the 2-4, gets the 10 to go. It looks like every time I look up, Marcia's on the approach, so have an opportunity to talk about everybody's performance as the day progresses, and of course, all of their career successes, both here and elsewhere, as we do our best to take some good notes heading into a live stream.
Hoskins mixes them up there in the 5th. An all or nothing kind of day so far for him.
Mike Flanagan has shared our YouTube link. We appreciate the support. Chris Hester as well. Get the word out, a nice crowd, both on site now and growing online. On this Monday afternoon here.
Nice cover there by Sargent to stay clean. Taking care of the washout. Sargent making his, well, we could find at least second Open Championships appearance. Works at Storm as a technical customer, not custard, service manager. You were talking about food earlier, Matt. I got distracted, but and if any of the information I gathered from the Storm Rota Group website is incorrect,
about that,
I can send all complaints to Mike Flanagan, I believe. So
that is a
thanks,
fact.
Mike.
We're surrounded by celebrities.
Greg Zika, two-time champ. Checking out the action here.
We're almost in the neighborhood of his 2001 doubles title. I believe Mr. Udseth said it was on either 61-2 or 63-64 here at the NBS.
I believe 63-4 if I'm going to go out on a limb, but he's Bob Udseth, more affectionately known as Boo around the bowling community. Actually has his eagle on display. Working over at the Bowlers Journal. Not too far from where we're at right now, lanes 69 through 78. For the second consecutive year, seen big growth in the number of entries. Folks not only want to get a chance to look at that, or get a first-hand look at the doubles and singles pattern, but an excellent opportunity to take home some additional prize money. Schlem takes care of business there, 2 in a row. And here's Steve looking to make it 4 in a row for himself. Looks like an IQ tour in his hands.
So Aaron, that's obviously working against us today, that we're competing against USA Soccer and the World Cup. I don't know how that's going to go. Right now, I believe it's halftime in the soccer game. Aaron is giddy and giggly.
Mr. Flanagan always knows how to make me chuckle here with his comments. We should have profiles on the bull.com page. We'll have to talk to Lucas about that. Unfortunately, no information on the USBC site, bull.com, but you can find out more about us on Twitter at USBC Aaron and at USBC Matt. So
celebrities everywhere. Billy Guthrie used to bowl against him in the PWBA South region. Norm Titus, we've said that name before. The runner-up in regular singles in 2006. Also the head coach at Martin Methodist. So giving back to the bowling community. So, yes, we kick things off here on February 28th. But a lot of great teams and a lot of great bowlers headed our way before we're done on July 13th. It's
including Tyrone Burks bowling next week. The man running the Kegel Flex machine here at the USBC Open Championships. He's joining us in the booth, watching some great bowling here on 55 and 6 as he prepares for his appearance on the lanes.
Well, if you're going to be in town and you're here to take some notes, I believe this is a pretty solid group if you want to have an idea. And of course, great shot there by Hoskins, cleaning up that mess. But with all the technical knowledge in this area as well, between Kloempken and Chris Schlemmer, Roger Nordic, no doubt they'll have some information to share when it's all over this afternoon.
Not only the 3 o'clock squad, the 7 o'clock squad tonight for those of you in town. Also, it's got some pretty solid players on it. So Andy Dole and a bunch of former collegiate stars out of Purdue University bowling with their coach, Scott Savage. So a solid group there. Jacob Wright, who we featured on a live stream with TJ Schmidt last year. See his name over at the Bowlers Journal right now. Bowling alongside Jason Beck, a guy from my neck of the woods. Very talented player. So Scott Gilmore, a bunch of names from the Indiana area. Because everything's better in Indiana.
Some top ladies headed our way in the coming days as well. The USBC Queens practice session will be June 27th here at the National Bowling Stadium, and a lot of those ladies coming to town early to compete at either or both the USBC Women's Championships over at the Reno Sparks Convention Center or here at the Open Championships. And we'll have some great live streaming broadcasts from the RSCC as those ladies take the lanes, try to get ready for the Queens, and of course the live TV show, the finals of the Queens on July 3rd, right around the corner. So looking forward to seeing all of them. And again, we're here till July 13th. We'll take a short break for the Queens and then the USBC Senior Championships. But many great teams, as we mentioned, some terrific players here in the building over the coming weeks. So no score safe here at the Open Championships until those phone calls are made on July 13th. Great shot there by Schlemmer.
His
And
strategy is working.
You know you're important when you guys get to travel with your own photographer. The Storm folks bringing their own guy in. Unless it's another group's spy getting some intel.
Could always be.
Maybe people don't believe that Schlemmer actually bowls. It's a myth, an urban legend, and we're here to get photographic evidence. Trip 4 for Marcia. She's gonna chat with the hubby. See what's going on out there. She moved in. Ball still came up a little bit high, so we'll see what Steve has in mind. Kimberly Bauer, brackets extraordinaire, stopping by the live stream booth. We'll be giving her a couple of bucks later this week.
Back-to-back shifts, no less.
Just want to get it done. Well, you got the momentum going. Once you get this steam engine going, it's hard to stop. So just gonna bulldoze through all 9 games.
That's true. We will not be featuring that live on Bowl TV. However, I'm sure even though those are my off hours on that day, I may be sneaking around the National Bowling Stadium, secretly posting videos on Facebook of Matt Cannizzaro performing, much like he did to me back in March when I laced up and proceeded to make me not strike for like 8 straight frames in a row.
It was just one video because the world wanted to see it. They demanded it.
Yeah, but it took 8 takes to get it right.
Well, you can't help it if you're camera shy.
A little bit, yeah. What can I say?
But you did strike quite a bit before I walked over there, and then
yeah, thanks for ruining my 3-bagger, man.
Shut it down.
Thanks. I needed that.
But then I left you alone, let you do your thing, and set that bar.
All right, Hannes mixes him up after the open in the 6th. We're moving right along here, Matt. We're having way too much fun. There's David Haynes, a 10-time member of Team USA. Not like the results there. As Mike Flanagan calls him, the Raj Mahal. Roger Nordic mixing him up there. Roger is the Vice President of Marketing for Storm.
All right, here comes Steve Kloempken, 2-time champion here, although it's been a few years.
Oh, if he would have been keeping track, it would have been 2013. He would have won number 3. Of course, was part of the Team All Events crew in 1993. and then took home the 2003 All Events title on his own.
Yeah, Horse likes to tell that story quite a bit. I think he helped line him up that day. He told me that this morning, actually, and where Steve was playing on the way to the 2003 All Events title. And of course, as much time as we spend here, we all have our favorite moments. And Steve, I think, spent a whole bunch of time working here over the years as well, and in some of the booths, and gets to know some of the employees. But that one had a lasting impression on Mr. Sirlicki.
Better known as the Horse. He was not part of Mappa's Horse last night, though, and this morning. Very talented crew, mostly out of Arizona, but led by the East Coast Mike Lichstein. Put up a nice 33.91 last night in team event and followed it up with first-time participant Ben Canfield, moving into 4th in all events, 22.09. So the two-hander getting off to a nice start and has a long future ahead of him here at the Open Championships.
'81 regular doubles champ Ted Hanna stepping up on lane 56, looking for his first double here in 2014. And he is pretty far right. Schlemmer said Ted is the straightest guy on their team, and he does drift quite a bit left prior to delivery. But a great shot there, and his double is on the board. Here's Haynes stepping up on lane 55. He was a member of that 2006 Team USA squad that went in and grabbed the gold team gold medal at the World Championships, ending a 35-year drought for the USA. And that was the first of 3 consecutive team gold medals. So a nice run there, and probably pretty awesome to be a part of that day. Now looking to get it done here on the biggest stage domestically at the Open Championships.
As Steve gets ready to step up in the 9th here, I'm going to take this opportunity to tell you a little bit more about his team name. Steve, of course, not only a 2-time titleist here at the Open Championships, as well as a 2-time member of Team USA. But Steve was a member of the 1993 through 1995 ITC champions with Wichita State. So Steve giving back to the community and to the school that helped him get where he is today. The Coach K 3-peat scholarship is given annually in the spring semester to a selected team member with the highest GPA from the previous fall semester. So that is a great incentive for those kids over at WSU. So, Steve, thanks for looking out for the next generation. I believe our good friend Matt McNeil was the recipient this year, as the old man went back to school.
Steve Bone checking in. 2010 regular doubles champ. And an unfortunate break there for Chris Schlemmer. 7-10. Mr. Bone, I think we really can make this fantasy team all events catch on. That is our goal. We put it out there. It's going to get some traction. It's going to be awesome.
Although I might have set the record for all time in the first year.
Yes. Go ahead. Have your moment.
My all-star.
We'll get you a record
lineup.
banner.
10,616. Is that good? That would be. That's banner worthy. Maybe we'll have to talk to Greg Moore and Brock, see if we can get one made up for the office so I can hang around and just kind of stare at it every day. And I don't think I would get much work done if I actually had one, so I'd be so caught up in that. It's going to my head. I can't.
Well, what's stopping you from getting any work done now?
Ha.
Ah.
I see what you did there. Well played.
Wide right for Marcia. Leaves the old 1-2. A little bit high on that lane last time. Was lucky to trip a 4. So she's thinking through this, making some moves, and just looks like a bad shot there.
So, okay, ball change for Hoskins works out all right. Once again, as we halfway through the foundation frame here, we want to thank everyone for taking some time out on their Monday afternoon, early evening, depending on where you're coming from, for joining us here on Bold TV at the Open Championships presented by Track. Be sure to subscribe to our channel to find the latest and greatest. I talked a little bit about all the great coverage from Senior Masters earlier this week. So you can find all the archive footage there, as well as get notifications of all of our live streams coming up. So if you subscribe this week, you'll get about 8 or 9 in the next few weeks, because Bowl TV is going to be a busy place. The place to be, if you will.
Certainly if you can't be here in person, Bowl TV is the next best thing. Especially on a big screen with the volume turned way up. Nice shot there by Michael Sargent, the left-hander. And struggling here early, but mixes him up nicely.
Nordic takes care of the ever-popular 1-5-8-9. Don't get to see that one too often, so nice cover there, Roger.
right, so things winding down here in game number 1, and a little bit uneventful here early, but again, we talked last year about the big finish. See if we can get some momentum going here. Heading into the rest of the day, David Haynes stepping up. 207 still out there for him.
Looks like Schlemmer has changed to an asylum from the hypercell I was using earlier, so that might be one of the balls at 1,000 grit. It's working. We'll get to 200 here with some decent count on the fill ball.
Folks, you've probably seen Chris Schlemmer on TV quite a bit, standing behind the players on the PWBA Tour, giving them all the tips and hints as they compete for national titles out there. And now you get to see him on the lanes again. I've never seen it in person that I can remember, but here it is live. Tell all your friends. Haynes finishes with 206. Schlemmer going to be right behind him with a good shot here. And 3 in the 10th for 202.
Schlemmer bounced back nicely after those opens in the 8th and 9th. Great shot by Steve there. So get to 228.
35-61.
It's a lot.
That is the highest score in Open Championships history.
That too.
This is the 111th edition of this event. That is a long time. And that is a big score. We see some close calls. We saw Lodge Lanes kids try to reclaim the record here set by their companion team. Lodge Lanes 2 last year, 35-38 on the way to the regular team title. Lodge Lanes 2 came up a little bit short with 33-21. The kids had a shot with a couple bowlers left to go. Came up a little bit short as well, 35-27. Of course, we saw a very talented group of youngsters earlier in this year come in. They were in town for the collegiate events, the Expo and Intercollegiate Team and Singles Championships, led by Graham Faw and his 836 series, the first 800 of the year. 35-51 came within 1 2-pin of getting to the number. Still a lot of teams capable of getting there the rest of the way, but seeing that number on top of the leaderboard, certainly very intimidating and not a lot of room for mistakes.
Yes, I'm sure the gentleman standing next to you would have something to say about it. So as the Fox Bowl team prepares to hit the lanes here, I believe on the 18th, so just a few days away.
Fox Bowl, of course, including Michael Nape, who is in a regular battle for the lifetime average lead here at the Open Championships. They took home the Team All Events title in 2008, and they're always in the mix here at the OC, coming late in the year, trying to bring a little late tournament magic, and again, they've gotten close many times, took home the 1 championship, so we'll see. Should they make any noise here at the Open Championships, you can find all the details on bowl.com. or on Facebook on the official Open and Women's Championships Facebook page. That's where we put the details about Mr. Canfield this afternoon, making a run at the top spot in regular all events, the first timer 22:09. Came up a little bit short, but the details are out there, and don't miss out. A lot of great news and almost news. That's where the almost news goes. So find us, like us, even if you don't like us, like our pages, and you'll be in the know.
Alford leaves a fork in there. He's getting away from the beaten path using a Columbia 300 Eruption Pro, so something a little different. Hashtag Orange Ball.
That's a fact. Columbia also a big supporter here at the Open Championships. Sponsor of the Columbia 340 frame game, being contested downstairs on the track showcase lanes. A lot of great competitive opportunities here in 2014 under one roof. Here at the National Bowling Stadium, of course, the USBC Open Championships taking place on lanes 1 through 64. And on lanes 69 through 78, the Storm Bowlers Journal Championships presented by USBC. And then downstairs, the 40 frame game, your opportunity for a little bit of fun, laid back, handicap singles event on a little bit less challenging condition, just a chance to get loose and have a good time with your teammates. Check out all three terrific options while you're in town. And of course, don't forget about the USBC Women's Championships taking place across town at the Reno Sparks Convention Center. The second time in history in back-to-back years that both major events have been held in the same host city at the same time, making it great for families to travel and compete together. And of course, the ladies taking advantage of both tournaments. A lot of prize money on the line. But right now, we are behind lanes 55 and 56 here at the NBS, watching the afternoon team event at the 2014 USBC Open Championships.
Coach K Scholarship still has 1050s out there. Storm Zero Gravity a little behind pace, 9:44. Still available. .202 for Hoskins. So actually kind of similar to the start they had last year. Barely cracked 1,000 in the opener before they had that big 1257 number. So we'll see if that game plan works 2 years in a row here at the NBS. Nice shot by Bovine there.
They're going to have to recapture some of last year's magic if they're going to make a run here. Of course, 35-61, the number on top. And that team all events number, not too small either. Of course, Kloempken has been there before. He knows what it takes. And that's about the number they're going to need. 10,363 is what's on top of the standings there.
Of course, the 1993 event had a record score that stood for 20 years, the 35-37 winning total by Brugger's Bagels. Stood until last year and has been passed again here in 2014, but
right, so one more shot from Ted Haynes, and game 1 will be a wrap.
Tried something different on the fill ball there. Leaves the 410 for 199. Gets him to 1031 overall.
We were down this way just the other day watching former Team USA member Federer Williams trying to make things happen here, and he almost did. Almost got it done. Shot 279. Just trying to give us a show. And we'll be down this way again on Saturday for defending regular singles champ Zeke Bate. So make sure to tune in. Spend part of your weekend with us. We certainly appreciate the support. And we appreciate everybody stopping by this evening. Game 2 now underway. David Haynes, world champion. Up on lane 56. Great spare shot there, no problem. However, it's going to take more than spares. Get these guys a shot. It'll take 3,500-ish just to get to the top 10 here in 2014. Great shot there from Hoskins to make it 3 in a row for Coach K scholarship. I believe Schlemmer did just actually call Roger the Raj Mahal. How about that?
So anyway, last year, I did the David Haynes complex, but in a different area. And I met this woman.
Sargent takes care of the 6-pin there. No problem after his 202 in the opener. So we'll get a look at the other lefty on the pair, Roger Nordic, here on 56 in just a second. Matt, today is the 16th, the 1-year anniversary since Zeke Bate ended up shooting his 795 for singles. Here you are 4 days away from making your run.
Why run?
Or your gentle walk or brisk walk or...
I am going to be aiming for the loaded cash numbers, which can be found on bowl.com. I'm going to check those out. I will give it my best, my 100%. I will prepare using the Track Showcase lanes and the Storm Bowlers Journal Championships. I'll have the best equipment available, the best advice from the people doing that equipment, and the motivation of the bar you set many months ago.
Many eons ago, it feels like, but still a very unique situation when you get ready for that timeout in the lanes. Still always a cool feeling to march down center aisle, get to just go through the whole process. So I'm sure even after, how many years are you up to now? Like 32 or 33 Open Championships appearances?
Somewhere between 10 and 20.
So I still gotta get a little excited, I imagine, as you start to count down the hours.
Certainly a little bit intimidating seeing the numbers, and of course haven't been here for many, many months. More than 100 days we've been on the lanes. Watching, wondering, taking notes. I think my thoughts, my viewpoints changed a little bit the other night watching George go Hagen to third and Austin Kircher try to get it done from the left side. Watching a couple lefties right now. Thinking through the game plan. I know we have a couple lefties in our group, so we'll see what their plans are during our practice session on Friday downstairs on the Track Showcase lanes. But of course, the anticipation, and this time around, I don't have to worry about too many days of interviewing people who did better than me. And of course, in the unfortunate event that my score should happen to end up being less than yours, less time that I have to be reminded of that.
That is one way of looking at it, I suppose. Seven-pin does not cooperate with Alpert there. Brian is a one-time PBA Tour titleist back in 1988, won the Kessler Open. To make it to the title match, he defeated Dave Husted, Ernie Schlegel, and the immortal Ray Valdivino in the title match, posting a 760 series for those three games. Striking a lot. Brian also went on to capture the 2007-2008 Sport Bowling High Average Award, posting a 232 mark for the season. So certainly a nice little set of accomplishments there, and of course competing on a sport certified condition here at the Open Championships, both the 43-foot pattern here for team event and .40 for doubles and singles. Fall within the 3-to-1 ratio.
Here in this 43-foot sport pattern, not going well for the left-handers on this pair. making me a little bit nervous.
You had mentioned earlier that Chris Schlemmer had said that Haynes was probably the straightest player out of the group, but he just made a big move to the left.
Well, again, he sets up pretty far right, drifts quite a bit left, but the rest of the team capable of wheeling and dealing a little bit. Chris Hester still awake and watching. Was hoping to, I'm sure, see the lefties bowl well and learn something.
Of course he's awake and watching. He's hoping we talk about Juicy Burger a little bit more. I am thoroughly excited to go tomorrow. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
It's really gonna happen.
Nice shot by Nordic there.
Well, since it is right down the street, I guess I won't bring lunch tomorrow knowing that you're gonna bring one by the office.
See what you did there. Well played on the air.
But if you didn't, for the world to know, I know you're looking out for my best nutritional interests.
Of course.
As I need to be at my physical peak performance this week.
And I don't want you to lose out on that first taste when you're purchasing that delicious burger for Mr. Hester as well. So I wouldn't want to rob him of that. So
I've been saving up for months, so yeah, so I'll be ready either way. So once again, 35-61, the number they're chasing, 10:31 and 9:43 to start. It's going to take a big afternoon to make that move. Going to take a 12.65 average for Coach K scholarship. They almost got there once in 2013 with 12.57.
Yeah, so far today we really haven't seen anyone string too many strikes together as that messenger doesn't cooperate. Flies past the 10, does not connect though.
Marcia up on the left lane. She's been struggling to get comfortable a little bit today. She's been messing with that thumb hole, putting some tape in, taking some tape out. She might have got hurt on that shot. We'll see what happens here. Just talking to everybody. Good shot there from Sargent. Chris Hester, that'll make you feel a little bit better. Haynes now coming up, looking for his first strike here in game 2. Setting up off screen, so far right, but he will inch into the view as he drifts about 20 boards left.
Looks like another ball change there, and able to connect here in the 3rd frame. 4 out of 5 for Coach K scholarship. All right, 3 in a row for Haynes. He's starting to get comfortable out there. Tyrone Burks checking in online now after checking by in the booth earlier today. Thanks for swinging by, Tyrone.
Another gentleman we ran into earlier today, Kevin Hong, who is one of my favorite guys coming out here to the Open Championships, a school teacher by day now, and a photojournalist in his spare time. And his deal is going around and photographing vintage bowling centers, the vanishing alleys, and capturing the history of those venues, potentially before they are closed and torn down forever. As Kloempken was hoping to tear down that 10-pin with the Messenger, but leaves just the 7-10. So that denies him a double and certainly slows the progress towards 1265 the rest of the way. Marcia having some trouble. Not sure if it's if she hit her ankle or she's having a Charlie horse, but she can't even stand up on her leg right now. We mentioned already she's wearing one Nike shoe and one bowling shoe, so maybe a prior injury. Try to tough it out though. Limping up onto the approach a little bit there. She's working on a double.
Posted 201 in the opener.
She goes Brooklyn, leaves the 5-pin. Never had an injury timeout on Bowl TV, or a sub for that matter, so we'll keep an eye on that situation.
Certainly favoring one leg over the other here.
It's very LeBron-esque right now.
Too soon? It's not too soon for Alex Hoskins. Makes it 4 in a row to start here.
This is way better than soccer. However, it is Team USA, so I'm all about Team USA. So. Shot there by Sargent for the double. Chris Hester, if you're paying attention, looks like they are opening up the left side a little bit here. Surface early, seems to have paid off. Nordic also with a double.
All right, 4 in a row for Haynes. They're 2:06 in the opener. Him and Hoskins leading the way here in game 2 after 10:31 in the opener. Three in a row for the Raj Mahal. At the Taj Mahal.
There you go. At the Taj Mahal of 10 pins here in Reno. Matt Kenazar and Aaron Smith behind lanes 55 and 56. You're watching the 3 p.m. team event here at the 2014 USBC Open Championships. And the pins not being very kind to 2-time champion Steve Kloempken. However, it is a year that does not end in 3. And those are the years where he seems to excel. But I don't think he's willing to wait another 9 years.
Give him the heater, Ricky. Schlummer staying true. Staying right, staying with that surface, and gets his first strike here at game number 2. And characteristic open frame there from Kloempken. Sargent mixes him up 3 in a row for him as well. Keep an eye on the lefties. Alex Hoskins as well. 5 in a row. Haynes keeps it going, 5 in a row. After a spare in the first, she converted a 210 in the first to stay clean this game. And has cashed in on that opportunity. Kloempken back on track after back-to-back opens. Marcia's getting to the pocket, but still seems in discomfort here. Still taking care of the spares. Makes it a double here in frame 6. Once again, thanks everyone for tuning in here on a Monday afternoon, early evening. Here in Reno, Nevada at the National Bowling Stadium. This is Aaron Smith and Matt Cannizzaro behind lanes at 55 and 6 for the 3 p.m. team event. Featuring Steve Kloempken, two-time champion here, David Haynes, a former Team USA member. They're a very talented bunch out of Utah, making their run at 35-61 on top of the standings. Record score held by Motion Plus Lanes out of Cudahy, Wisconsin. 10:31 in the opener for Coach K Scholarship and 9:43 for Storm Zero Gravity.
So here's the good news, Mr. Smith. It appears that soccer is over. USA has won, and our viewership hopefully will go up.
Go USA.
As David Haynes continues to strike. 1265 is what these guys will need the rest of the way. Tall task, if anything, a good head start for team all events.
Also a big number on top of that. 10,363. Set by Beaver Dam, Wisconsin's Jans H.I. Schlemmer showing he's got the skills on the lanes as well as the eye behind the scenes, so there's a 3-bagger for him. They've had a few missed opportunities with some makeable spares here. A few more strikes up here for Coach K Scholarship.
Perhaps when they continue to strike and find success here in 2014, some of that prize money will go to the Coach K Scholarship. How about that? Calling out Steve Kloempken on the air. Absolutely. I should have talked about that earlier. Earmark some of that money.
Because remember, Matt, though the prize money gets spent, the memories last forever.
That's right. So do the Eagles. Shot there by Albert, still throwing that Columbia Eruption Pro. Again, this 43-foot pattern, it's kind of there to start with. You can get in your comfort zone. Don't need a lot of surface. As you can see, that ball very shiny. Good shot there by Sargent to get back on track. Of course, Chris Schlemmer, the guy with the surface here today, and his role to create a little bit of area towards the outside. It's good to have 1 or 2 guys out there, not everybody. And you can see Albert able to throw that hashtag orange ball out there and get it back, partially thanks to Mr. Schlemmer. Hoskins trips the 4. He's back on track as well.
See if Hannes can make it a perfect 7th for Coach K. After 4 out of 5 in the 6th. right, stepping up on 55, David Haynes. Looking to make it 7 in a row. Comes up a little bit light, leaves the 2-4. Pin wasn't there that time, but would have taken care of it as well. Great shot by Steve there. Bouncing back after a few opens with 3 in a row for himself. Looks like a ball change coming for Marcia here. Looks like a storm sink coming out of the bag.
All right, Mr. Smith, I was just chatting with recent NCAA championship coach Brad Hagan about that, checking in, talking a little bit about college bowling as we look at the future live stream schedule and such. Talking about the Track Cat Clash. Been down there a couple times to live stream that event.
Yes, certainly one of the fun aspects of this gig is getting to see many different kinds of competitors take the lanes, and we got the chance to do a few NCAA events throughout the year.
Well, people always ask, the tournament's almost over. Are you looking forward to it? You gonna relax? And they don't know what we do the other half of the year. And while a lot of it is getting ready for this event, of course, putting all the literature together, getting the website updated, working on next year's live stream schedule already. We do get to go to other events, travel around a little bit and see how the rest of the bowling world lives. And for us, as soon as we're done here, that includes Mr. Smith headed to Buffalo, New York for the Junior Gold Championships. And I will be headed to Rockford, Illinois to check out the BPAA All-Star, followed up by a trip to Hong Kong for the World Youth Championships with Mr. Wiseman. And then we'll settle in back at headquarters and start getting ready for next year's national tournaments. But as Aaron mentioned, swing by a couple of collegiate events. Last year he got to go to Las Vegas to cover the December tournaments. And we covered the Prairie View A&M Invitational NCAA action down at the ITRC at the International Bowling Campus.
Talk about a fun time, especially afterwards with the host college, Prairie View, bringing some home cooking. That was just unbelievable. That was pretty cool. So much thanks to them once again. We thank them plenty of times, but
Certainly.
I also got to MC the awards for that, so that was pretty cool as well.
Yeah, always an adventure, of course. A lot of great events. Lucas Wiseman, the Globetrotter, mentioned he's headed to the World Cup this year, and he'll be at the USBC Masters as well in February. So always on the road, always looking for something good, and it's certainly good variety. All year round, great coverage on Bowl TV.
And of course, we can't forget about, before we leave, the fun and excitement we'll have at the USBC Queens here at the National Bowling Stadium from June 27th until July 3rd. A lot of coverage will be provided on Bowl TV, the TV finals.
And Lucas might let us in on the action. We'll be here to help cover the event. Of course, he'll be in town. Looking forward to that and the TV finals on July 3rd. Keep an eye on bowl.com for all those details. And there will be no shortage of great bowling on Bowl TV in the coming weeks. We got one more game here coming up with Coach K Scholarship in Storm Zero Gravity. And then on Saturday, Zeke Bate puts his singles title on the line. Don't miss it.
You'll have a unique opportunity to, obviously we've mentioned a few times, you'll be the companion team of Mr. Bate this year, and it should be interesting to see how, obviously we talked to defending champions and put those stories up on bowl.com, and there's a lot of excitement of the march down center aisle getting presented with the watches. But it'll be interesting to be down in the trenches, if you will, see how the young man adapts to that moment. So we'll be looking forward to hearing a report during doubles and singles and a unique perspective.
Well, for Mr. Bate being such a youngster, he certainly is still learning the traditions and the history of the Open Championships and what exactly it means to be a champion here, an Eagle winner. But he'll have 6 games to understand after being introduced and seeing his name, the word champion, on the scoreboard. Something the team champions just the other day didn't have was time. They got their championship watches presented to them, and minutes later, they were trying to make it 2 in a row. So a lot of pressure there. And Zeke will have some time to get comfortable before it's showtime. Of course, Aaron was on hand to watch it live in 2013. Always a fun story to hear. You can read all about it in this year's USBC Open Championships Tournament Yearbook, available inside the bowling store here. Nice little souvenir.
Pick up all of your USBC merchandise.
It's all right, Mr. Smith. They know where to find it. And speaking of Zeke bait, Ted Haynes has left the Zeke bait, the 3-6-10.
See what you did there. Well, Ted is able to convert. Coach K scholarship put up about 280, which will get him right past the 1100 mark here in game 2. Of course, that would involve 15 strikes, but still possible.
That is a considerable number of X's on the scoreboard.
That is true. Ted takes care of the 3-6-10. So the first person to see if they can keep that 1100 alive, David Haynes. So it's 269 out there. Sends the messenger across the deck. What 10 pin? That's right, no 10. I do that 3 times a year. That's my quota.
I think I might have seen a couple of those. I know you like to spend a lot of time hanging out with your buddies, the 4 and 5 pins.
They helped out my buddy Walter Ray this week, so. See what I did there?
I see what you did. Walter Ray collapsing the bucket against Jack Jurek to win the USBC Senior Masters. Very talented field there.
Unbelievably talented field there. Great top 5, made the step ladder.
And it was all captured on Bold TV. If you missed it, check out the archives. Lucas Wiseman on the call.
As well as a speechless Eric Pearson.
It doesn't happen very often.
Very true. I was surprised.
That young man can talk.
He was stunned by the way that match ended. Could not put it into words. So he didn't. He just sat there. We'll have to work on that next time. All right, 257 in the books for Haynes after 206 in the opener. The Raj Mahal, Roger Nordic, bouncing back nicely after 140 in the opener. 219. Might be my new favorite nickname ever, by the way.
We're still working on your nickname, Mr. Sidekick.
Ha.
Aaron, the other day we had Steve Miller shoot 300 in the team event. Now a couple pairs to our left, Steve Martin. So a lot of celebrities coming to bowl here at the Open Championships.
Had Matthew McConaughey earlier at the front 7 a few months ago. Ring 10 for Schlemmer there. We'll be in the 2-0s once again. So 206 for Steve, puts him at 433 after 2.
A couple tough breaks there in the middle of game 2 for Kloempken.
He certainly made a bunch of solid shots, but tough break on a 7-10 and a uncharacteristic single pin miss. Dropped that score down quite a bit.
Alpert not getting that one back. Leaves the PBA washout. He's gonna need about 180 grit out of Schlemmer. Marcia back to walking upright here. So her injury timeout has turned out okay. She gets the first one in the 10th. As Alpert gets 2. Finishes with 174, so they needed 1265 to average games 2 and 3. Right now, creeping in on 1,000. Probably not going to see a new team leader here today. Doesn't mean you can't learn something from today's broadcast.
Looks like Hoskins went back to the ball he started with there. Nothing but strikes and opens this game for the young man.
Hoskins trying to wave that one into the pocket and it gets there. But the 10 pin does not cooperate. So this game very Canizaro-like, front 5, possible 204. Sargent kind of in a similar position, all or nothing. The exception of a spare in the first frame, of course. Good shot there for 4 in a row.
Still get to 223. Up the back 6.
A little bit of surface and kind of looping it a little bit. Flat dime for Hannes. Gets him over 1,000.
Can nearly match their, go a few pins over their effort in the first game. Looks like Storm Zero Gravity will actually be ahead of what they shot in game 1. Another strike for the lefty. So Storm Zero Gravity can get to 1,000 here with a big 10th from John Boving.
Appreciate everybody stopping by. This is Matt Canizaro and Aaron Smith. You're watching the end of game number 2 of today's team event. We'll have one more game for you. see how Coach K Scholarship and Storm Zero Gravity can finish up here. Area check for Michael Sargent. Good place for that. Good 6, finishes with 219. All right, so 10:29. I was gonna say a team triplicate would be cool, and it would be a casher, but I think they're looking a little bigger than 10:30 here in game number 3. That would certainly be ideal.
All right, just like that, we are ready for game 3. Coach K Scholarship making the turn at 2060, Storm Zero Gravity 1919. David Haynes, the high on the pair so far, 463 after 2. Followed by Steve Kloempken at 433. Michael Sargent, 421. Chris Schlemmer, 407. And Alex Hoskins at 406. Those are the folks who are plus here so far.
All right, so David Haynes looking comfortable now in his wheelhouse. Good shot there from Nordic as well. Both teams off to a strong start here in game 3, and they're gonna need it. Coach K mathematically cannot get to the top spot here, so that is done. Now it's just a matter of getting all they can for team all events and all events, and of course a nice big team finish would make a nice addition potentially to the Coach K Scholarship. Game 3 of 3 underway. You're watching live on Bold TV. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/BoldTV, and you won't miss a minute of our live stream and action from around the world. Find us on Facebook and Twitter, and Bold.com. All the great news and notes from our major events, from all of our events. You can go on there right now, find the Open Championships page, check out this year's lane conditions. So we have 43 feet for the team event, 40 feet for doubles and singles. That happened for the very first time last year. And if you're curious and would like to get a look at the team pattern, you can do so here on site at the track showcase lanes. Make sure to schedule early. Get your team a spot. Already talking about next year's setup and the showcase lanes. And of course, if you'd like to look at the doubles and singles pattern, it's the same one used right next door here at the Storm Bowlers Journal Championships. Bowl a squad over there, get a look, get some practice, and potentially some extra prize money. Of course, you'll get comfortable because it is the very same lanes, approaches, machines, and oil that you'll experience, as it is only separated by a small wall. Open Championships being contested on lanes 1 through 64, the BJ 69 through 78. And the track showcase lanes downstairs, part of a $15 million renovation project here at the NBS. The city of Reno, all the local hotels, very supportive of the bowlers and the tournaments, and have earmarked 15 million bucks. And that started in phases back in 2012, the addition of the Satellite Hall of Fame Museum. Downstairs on the ground floor, followed by the track showcase lanes in 2013, and a completely remodeled squad room here in 2014. Additional changes include the hallway leading to the squad room, as well as the front facade of the building. We'll have brand new lanes installed after our departure here in 2014, so next year's Women's Championships will be on brand new lane panels. And they're going to do some work on the concourse as well with the VIP seating and the bleachers. So stay tuned for that as the Open Championships returns to the NBS in 2016. Looking forward to all those great changes. And of course, taking our show on the road in 2015, we're going to head to El Paso, Texas with the Open Championships. Registration is open for that and for the USBC Women's Championships and the brand new USBC Mixed being held here at the National Bowling Stadium alongside the WC in 2015. Check out bowl.com for details on all of those items. And with that, Mr. Smith has returned. Station identification. Today's broadcast brought to you by Track Bowling.
Thanks for the welcome back there, Matt.
Looks like our buddy Dan Stricker is checking out a live stream broadcast here.
I would agree. I heard you mention VIP seating. Dan took advantage of the VIP program here, the 2014 event, which included a lesson with Mike Jasnow. Dan went on to post a nice overall event, moved into the top 10 early on. And I believe Chris Schlemmer's bowling ball just started on fire. But it struck with power. So he has not deviated from the game plan at all. He's got a few 200s to show for it, so.
Are you trying to sneak in bowling ball, bowling company references there? Just mention them all in one sentence?
I can't get off track.
Oh, you're clever.
I'm motivated. This could go on for hours, but we're beyond radical thinking here, so.
Aaron Smith, you're a true visionary in your field.
Brunswick, that is all. All right, back to business. Okay.
That was a poor effort there. But
yeah, at the end. I could have made a billiards reference, I guess, maybe. This isn't billiards, though, Matt. This is bowling. Some talented bowlers at that. double for Ted Haynes there. A few strikes early on for both squads.
Well, we did determine in your absence that with a 20-60 effort through 2, mathematically we're not going to see a new team leader today.
So if they would have shot 1,500, it could have been
Dramatic disappointment.
35-60. That would have been dramatic disappointment.
We had the highest game ever, as well as second place overall here at the Open Championships. And as we know, Mr. Smith, unfortunately nobody remembers the runner-up.
First or your last?
Absolutely.
Ricky Bobby mindset. If you ain't first, you're last.
Granted, second place pays a little bit better than last place, but...
And you get a watch.
And you get a watch. David Haynes striking away. Absolutely.
Looks like he made a ball change as well there.
Nice crowd on hand. We appreciate everybody sticking with us. Some friendly folks nearby in person as well. Every day is a reunion here at the Open Championships.
Certainly so, and a lot of folks who make plans to keep the same general dates, or you know, that third weekend in May or whatever it may be, and tend to start to see some of the same people over the years. Our sixth and final lady over at the Women's Championships, Lorraine Sandvin of Tucson, Arizona, mentioned one of the things she always looked forward to as she made her run at half a century on the lanes was that, you know, after a few years you get to get used to seeing those familiar faces, and it's always nice to renew those friendships. So the bowling industry does run deep. Certainly always nice to see a familiar face and get to catch up for a few minutes.
Well, as I mentioned, I knew Marcia back in our high school and college days, and some of these guys nearby, Billy Guthrie, Norm Titus, back when I was chasing the PWBA regional dream, got a chance to get to know them as well. Marcia not making friends with this leave here on lane 56, however, so she's probably not looking forward to seeing these guys again anytime soon. Three, four, six. Hopefully there's nothing going on across this vast bowling center, as nobody's mentioned anything. We're already in game 3. Some folks almost getting done.
Lanes 1 through 64 being used for Open Championships competition. And 69 through 78, the Storm Bowlers Journal presented by USBC. Making its 68th appearance alongside the Open Championships, but just the second year under the same roof. Folks have certainly taken advantage of a chance to see the doubles and singles pairing which is featured there, along with taking home some prize money. Apparently everyone heard this already, according to the look Matt Cannizzaro just gave me, so my apologies.
Well, I had to fill the time in your absence, and without you here for the witty banter that we were so accustomed to, I gave the rundown of all the behind-the-scenes stuff. Showcase lanes, Bowlers Journal Championships, track showcase lanes, Columbia 340 frame game. David Haynes striking away, had 257 in game 2, front 4 here. Seen him throw some strikes in my day. Of course, he's from the Las Vegas area and got to bowl some sweepers with and against him in 2009. We'll be headed back there in 2017. Great facility going up at South Point. And the Women's Championships will be the first in the door in 2016, along with the USBC Mixed. It's going to be a great venue. 60 lanes, 30 million bucks. Las Vegas really taking care of the bowlers. It will be a bowling destination for many years to come. Already has been, but now we're headed that way. Women's Championships will make its first appearance in Sin City since 1983. Once again, that is in 2016. And Mr. Stricker with a question in the chat room. Do the top 3 places get watches in all of the events? We actually have the estimated prize fund posted on bowl.com on the Open Championships page. Just click on the information tab and you can get all the estimated prize money for everything, as well as what you get in each event. Plaques, eagles, watches, all kinds of goodies up for grabs here. Of course, world fame and giant banners with your names on them also on the list.
Yeah, with less than a month to go, a few of those folks looking to add their names to those banners. Probably watching every day, checking the online leaderboards on bowl.com. And
social media certainly has helped everybody keep up with what's going on the tournament lanes, as well as the online leaderboards. And just the other day, while I was here watching Lodge Lanes 2 and Lodge Lanes Kids break into the top 10 in team all events, was keeping tabs there with the Jans crew, Jans HI. Team all events leaders. Had a couple close calls in recent years. No doubt on the edges of their seats, waiting to find out, wishing the event would wind down already. July 13th, the final day. And it can't come soon enough for those guys. They certainly earned it, put on quite a performance in doubles and singles, as well as another big team score. They're always in the mix, but they bowl so early. And they set the bar this time, and so far it has been untouchable. 10,363, just trying to hold on here.
They did take the team lead, which lasted for 24 hours or so. But I'm pretty sure they'll be okay with that if, well, they have to be because it's already happened, but but they'll be a little bit happier with that as long as that 10,363 is still good after the last squad on July 13th. But mentioning just all the ways through social media, through bowl.com, I think we've talked about this before, just the how did they do it back in the pre-internet days, as far as finding out if you're still in the lead or who's coming to town. Obviously, the yearbooks were structured a little bit different, had the kind of the rundown of when everyone was going to be in town, so you knew when those bigger names were going to be there. But certainly would have been an interesting run compared to what we see today.
I guess there were a lot of phone calls being made, and I often talk about just how much things have changed since 2005 when I came on board here, and the way that we do things and what's relevant. Social media really taking over as far as getting the word out immediately, instant gratification. But there was a time, of course, when news releases had to be faxed out to the many newspapers. Now we just have one big list. Press send, it goes to all of them at once. But I do know that Glenn Olson, a 3-time champion here back in the 1960s, will be headed our way soon to compete. And I'm going to ask him, what was it like back then? And I believe his son Kevin Olson talked him out of retirement to come and bowl, so should he make it our way, we'll chat about the old days. That's the best part about our longtime bowlers is the stories that they tell. The Bill Lillards, Don Ellis's, those guys, when we get a chance to sit down with them after one of their milestones, they have many things to share. And we talked earlier about the gentleman bowling in a shirt and tie. That was the norm for many, many years.
But not Norm Cummings?
But not Norm Cummings, who also is on site with some great stories. He served many roles here over the years. He used to have our job. And he's also got a title and more than 50 years in, so one day we'll have to swing by and see what he has to say. Right now, some other folks swinging by, Mike Hillman and Leanne Hulsenberg. Hello. Hello, welcome. We do appreciate the support, and of course all the hellos online and in person. Leanne, of course, part of the big Storm family, watching from home in Utah. One of my personal favorites. Always nice to see her and Gary come through, especially when we get to go out and have a meal and talk bowling, talk life. I imagine a lot of these folks headed to Florida soon for Bowl Expo. Because if you're a who's who in the bowling world, that's where you're going to be.
Right now we have a who's who bowling superstars in a 55 and 6 here live on Bowl TV. Including that man, David Haynes, 5 in a row.
David Haynes trying to get some work for Jessica, our local associate, who will be headed in tonight. What's that, Aaron? You want to take it? Absolutely. Should David Haynes throw 7 more strikes? Aaron Smith will tell the world about it.
Kloempken joining in on the fun, makes it 4 in a row after the open in the first.
Call him Slim Dog Millionaire. He is the charcoal king of this team event. His role, play to the outside part of the lane. Burn it up to give the rest of the group some room to the right. It's working for David Haynes. He's striking up a storm.
Let's see what you did there.
In game 2 and 3.
David high on the pair after 2 with 463, 206 in the opener, 257 in game 2, and the strikes are continuing for the 10th time That's right, 10-time Team USA member. The medal count has to be ridiculous for him. So we'll just leave it at that. He's won a ridiculous amount of medals.
Certainly the big one, that 2006 Team World Championship, ending a 3-decade drought for Team USA. Previous team title came in 1971. That would be a proud moment, the first of 3 consecutive World Championships. And that run came to an end in 2013 in Las Vegas on their home turf. Finished second. All right, Aaron, a couple of these guys getting pretty far left now.
I saw a few of them somewhat left it from the beginning. Possibly part of the idea this year, the way the 43-foot pattern is working, where you really don't need to play together to break it down. And we see a few guys a little bit further right, obviously. Schlemmer still piping it with the grit. Lefties doing their own thing out there. And saw a few guys start a little further left. I'm sure it was all part of the plan.
You sure can't get where you're comfortable from the beginning. Maybe not too far left, and then you kind of get trapped. You don't really have anywhere to go at that point. A lot of strikes on the board here in game 3. Fortunately, a few dashes as well. All just building some momentum and trying to get a little extra share of that $5 million prize fund. We're halfway through the finale here. Coach K Scholarship and Storm Zero Gravity.
And
We've certainly seen a lot of those zero gravities roll down the lane here in 2014.
Certainly so. He's been a popular choice, including Tim Damrow. He's been was our all events leader for a while, still hanging on to second place.
While we have that opportunity, sounds like a great time for a quick rundown of our leaderboards here. We talked about the team event quite a bit. 3561 team all events, of course. 10,363 is a beast of a number. Yance HI from Beaver Dam, Wisconsin. But we do have some other exciting events going on here. Doubles, singles, and regular all events. Take it away, Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Matt, for that warming introduction. All right, of course, we mentioned quite a few times already. 3561 on top of regular team Motion Plus lanes out of Cudahy, Wisconsin. Sitting in second, Donovan's Bunch out of Painted Post, New York. 3551, a 2-pin away from having their name at the top of the standings. Sitting in third, right here on Bowl TV, you saw it last week. Lodge Lanes Kids out of Orlando, Florida. 3527, sitting in fourth. Thanks, Ronnie. Also out of Orlando, 3514. And Warriors, a group of Weber International past and current members.
I think we've actually written about 100% of the Weber Warriors who have come to bowl at this event.
They're doing something right. There's something in the water down there. It seems to be working out well here.
We'll be writing about another one here coming up next week, as a matter of fact. Diana Zavialova, the defending USBC Queens champion.
Diana Z. But Warriors rounds out the top 5 in regular team with 35-13. Moving on to doubles, the father-son duo of Clark and Carl Polzer of Arden Hills, Minnesota, continue to hold on to the lead with 14-65. Sitting in second, Angela Chirpich and USBC Masters champ Tom Hess, 14:45. Steve Harmon and Nick Hoagland out of Indianapolis sit in third with 14:39. Andrew Jordan and Brandon Novak out of Ohio, 14:25, sitting in fourth. Rounding out the top 5, Marty Levine and Mike Barron out of Michigan, 14:24. Moving on to singles. Lewis Jenkins Jr. of War Acres, Oklahoma, sitting on top with 8:26, which included a 300 game. We have a two-way tie for second. Chris Murray out of San Jose, California was the first to get there with 8:02. And just last week, John Trzynski, part of that Lodge Lanes kids group, who shot the same thing, 8:02. Sitting in fourth, Jeff Grego out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, 7:98. And Matt Reggie out of Waterloo, Wisconsin, 7:92, rounds out the top 5 in regular singles. In all events, part of the 2013 Team All Events champion, Anthony Lacaze, kept it going this year. On his way to a 22:73 total, the 4th highest in tournament history. As we previously mentioned, Tim Damrow of Waupun, Wisconsin, 22:28, sitting in second. Eric Coping of Websterville, Vermont, 22:26. And we talked about him earlier today. Ben Canfield, just this morning, out of San Diego, 22:09. Sits in fourth. 5th place, Dan Higgins, Westerville, Ohio, 22:08. Finally, for team all events, 10,363. Jans H.I. up on top. Lodge Lanes Kids sitting in second, 10,205. Team NABR, very talented super team, if you will, featuring the likes of Rob Gottschall, Mike Rose Jr., Adam Barda. Sitting in third with 10,169. Rose Bowl Lanes featuring USBC Hall of Famer Doug Kent, 10,144. And another collegiate program having a nice showing. The Midland University Warriors Support Team of Omaha, Nebraska, 10,140. Wraps up your top 5. Take it away, Matt.
Excellent rundown, Mr. Smith. There you have it. If you have more questions or interest in the leaderboards here at the USBC Open Championships, you can find those on bowl.com. Go to the Open Championships page. And again, a lot of great information and scores on there. If you know somebody who bowled and want to see how they did individually, individual scores also available.
So you're saying you can look at my individual results from 2014,
That is a fact.
but not 2013?
You go all the way back to 2005.
Nobody wants to see those.
Back when you were just a child. Nearly a decade ago.
Holy cow.
Aaron Smith getting ready to celebrate 3 decades of life.
You'll have to give me the rundown on how that is, Matt. I know that was a while ago for you, but
Can't remember. I don't move very swiftly, but I have far surpassed that milestone. Speaking of milestones, 2 days from now, Jamie Brooks from Plano, Texas, the proprietor at Plano Super Bowl and Cowtown Bowling Palace, will celebrate 55 years of Open Championships competition, our final milestone of the year. And he will get an escorted march down center aisle, where he'll be presented with a plaque, chevron, and engraved watch to commemorate 55 years on the tournament lanes. Stay tuned for next year. We're talking about revamping the participation program a little bit. Hoping to recognize bowlers a little bit sooner. Right now, the first time is 20 years, where you get a engraved bag tag But we're thinking about maybe going to 10 or 15 years and give you something special to show that we appreciate you coming back to the Open Championships each year. But you have to come to El Paso next year to find out. A lot of great changes happening at the Open Championships. For example, last year we went to fresh oil for every squad for the very first time in history. 2 different lane conditions made possible. And of course we went from 4 on a pair for doubles and singles to 6. Slow down the pace a little bit for our older participants and give everybody a chance to really enjoy the experience. These changes all well received here. Next year, going to a brand new schedule. First squad of the day won't be until 9 a.m. So those of you early risers on the 7 a.m. squad get a couple more hours to sleep, especially coming from the East Coast. If you haven't already registered for next year, it's open and available, all in real time, so check it out.
So we go back to the Mountain Time Zone in El Paso, Texas, Sun City.
Aaron, that's only happened 4 other times in tournament history. Can you name those years and cities?
Well, Matt, if I was a betting man, I would bet it was 2000 in Albuquerque. Not 100% sure on that. 2002, Billings, Montana. 2008, also Albuquerque. Assuming I was right the first time. I don't know if I'll get the 4th.
I think you might.
Oh, I see what you did there. 1996. Salt Lake City, Utah.
All right, looks like our pins camera has given up on us here late in game number 3. We thought we had that situation worked out. As a software update seemed to have fixed everything. Aaron's going to check that out. Appreciate the heads up. Otherwise, we're going to go to a 2-camera view, perhaps. It's not one thing, it's another, keeping us on our toes here. All right, so game 3 rolling on. We're in the 8th frame here. Nearing the end of today's broadcast. And it looks like at this point, our best option is to just black out the pin's camera. Go to the 2-screen shot for the last couple frames. We'll bounce back and forth. All right, there's your new look. Somebody in the chat room did ask what ball David Haynes is throwing. A little hard to tell from back here as it has no color to it. But it could be the IQ Tour Solid. We've seen a lot of those roll down the lane here in 2013 and 14.
We are in the 8th frame, just getting ready to wrap up. Ted Haynes looking to make it 7 out of 8. And connects.
These guys again, 1031, 1029. Not a threat for the top 10 at this point. We'll have a scoreboard look here as we get towards the end of game number 3. Technology, frustrating sometimes.
The trip 3, not frustrating for Nordic though.
Right now you're looking at the who's who of Storm Bowling. Remember to support them by competing in the Storm Bowlers Journal Championships alongside the USBC Open Championships for the 68th time. And of course, many thanks to our Bowl TV sponsor here in 2014, Track Bowling. And remember to have a practice session down in the Track Showcase lanes, and that comes with a free Track Bowling / Bowl TV towel that you can pick up in the Ebonite booth.
I can't believe no one has come up to us and asked us to sign it. One of these days.
Well, by the time we're done here, there's going to be about 6,000 of them out there in the world. Perhaps it will happen when you least expect it at a bowling tournament far, far away.
So there you go. You could have the first available Aaron Smith, Matt Canzaro autographed Bowl TV presented by Track Towel from the Open Championships. It might have been worth more without it, but just throwing that out there. Bovine takes care of the spare there. We'll go to a quick shot of the scoreboard. Nordic already struck in the 9th. Schlemmer getting ready for his offering.
Slim Dog, a little bit of a rough patch there. Frame number 9. case you missed it earlier, our next broadcast coming up on Saturday. Defending regular singles champion Zeke Bate will be here, putting his title on the line. The youngster trying to make it 2 in a row at the National Bowling Stadium. Won last year's event with 795. And it's going to take quite a bit more here in 2014. 826, your leader, Lewis Jenkins Jr. It just came to him. Had 527 in doubles. Stayed in the same spot, same ball, and made some magic. So Zeke will have his work cut out for him. We'll have that for you live on Bowl TV on Saturday, followed by an entire week at the USBC Women's Championships. A lot of great players coming our way, including 2012 USBC Queens champion Deandra Asbeatty. Talked to her today and looking forward to having her on the air next week. Her talented team over at the WC. Just one of many. Check out the schedule on bowl.com. You'll find it under the information tab on either tournament page. And of course, Mr. Smith all year long has diligently typed all of our live stream broadcasts into the main schedule on the main page of bowl.com. We appreciate everybody being here today. Look forward to having you back again. We've got just over a frame left here in today's broadcast.
Solid 9th frame overall for both teams. Schlemmer's split the only non-strike up until Hoskins' 10 pin there, working on 4 in a row.
Things getting quiet here at the NBS. This team squad coming to a close. Bowlers Journal Championships happening right on the other side of the wall. Looks like Corey Hoffman from the Storm booth has the front 5 at the BJ. It's a good way to get started.
All right, David Haynes kicking off his 10th frame. Sends all 10 back. There's another 250 game out there. 255. Late trip of the 10 for Ted Hannes. Makes it 8 out of 9. 279 still out there for him.
David Haynes will be in the 250s, assuming he can keep this one on the lane behind the foul line. Very nice day for him.
Yeah, bounced back nicely after 206 in the opener. 257, 255.
Looks like Chris Schlemmer did his job. Giving these guys some room to the outside.
The area check shot.
That could really come in handy for doubles and singles tomorrow with the 6 games. He could put up some big single scores if he can create that kind of room on that pattern.
Looks like 7:18 in the books for David Haynes, so still has his work cut out for him. He wants to get towards that all events number, but certainly a nice start.
Yeah.
10-time member of Team USA showing it off there.
There's Nordic showing off a little bit with the Brooklyn strike for the 4-bagger finish. 2:05.
Gets him to 564. Steve still has 240s out there. He can get to 679 with 2 more. Great shot there. Steve's been all around the pocket today. A few rough hits here and there. Cost him a bigger set, but he's finishing it off strong here in the finale. The ever popular 1789. He just wanted to dry out the boards a little further down lane just to make sure. Final offering for the 2-time champion here. Comes up a little bit light, 244 though.
It's a nice 1-2 combo there, 255, 244, 100 over with 3 guys to go. You gotta feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, they can add another 200 on top of that, so 1,200 still out there.
Well, they talked about Schlem being able to open him up enough for a big finish, and they're getting it. They shouted, "Thanks, Schlem."
The consummate team. I think it was him who shouted it, but just to make sure everyone was paying attention though.
And the everyday spare, too much for Mr. Schlemmer. Finishes with 174.
Gets him to 581.
Not a bad day. All for the team.
Alpert can get to 216 here. Marcia 202. Another double in the 10th for Coach K's scholarship.
It's a nice 10th frame here for sure. For Coach K. Alpert keeps it going. So 3 for 3 for doubles in the 10th. He finishes with 216.
Gets him to 587 for the day.
Appreciate everybody sticking with us today through all 3 games. Getting a nice finish here from these 2 teams. A lot of strikes being thrown in the 10th frame. Hoskins made a good shot there, leaves the 10 pin. Now let's see if Sargent can finish strong as well.
All right, 220 is for Hoskins with decent count.
Look at that ball screaming back from the outside. He certainly didn't need to help it along, but wheeling that one. So the lefties got themselves a little something here.
All right, 222 for Hoskins. For 628. So Ted can add 90 on top, so 12-16. Up into a nice 32-70 with 3 more strikes here.
All right, the final few shots coming right up. Sargent 224.
Gives him 645.
Nice game here by Haynes, 1981 regular doubles champion. Working on 279. Cannot get the 4 to cooperate. We got Emil Williams Jr. chiming in from home. Get on the horse ball. Mr. Williams coined that phrase here at the Open Championships.
That he did.
No need to wave at the ball. Make a turn. Just get on the horse.
Could it be Mappa's horse?
Well, I never bet Mappa. Depends how generous he is with his horse, I suppose.
All right, we are getting to our final shots here. We'll get a scoreboard shot as soon as these guys finish up. Ted Haynes go 258 with a strike on the fill to give Coach K scholarship 1195. So got the big game in the finale after 1031 and 1029. Storm Zero Gravity 943, 976. Have a chance to sneak past that here with a strike by Boving to get to 978.
Haynes didn't like that one off his hand, but very nice finish here for Coach K scholarship, 1195 for 3255. So they were grinding it out early and things opened up nicely as planned. And there you have it, the final look at the scoreboard. Mr. Smith, 1195, 3255. And Storm Zero Gravity, 976. Very consistent performance for 2895. Going to be right around that cash number here in 2014. And with that, sir,
take it away, guy.
That's going to wrap it up here. Today's broadcast brought to you by Track Bowling. Very nice finish. Once again, this is Matt Cannizzaro and Aaron Smith. We've been live all day. We'll be back with you on Saturday to see defending regular singles champion Zeke Bate take the lanes. That's 2 p.m. Eastern. But until then, that's the news for now, and we'll see you on the lanes.